hey, here we are. Another reaction video for today, and another CinemaSins video to react to. And here's the thing. Originally, I was planning on reacting to a couple of trailers, but then, early this morning, I noticed that today was the anniversary of Disney's live-action Pinocchio film, the day that it came out on Disney+. And I was thinking, do I want to go ahead and do a reaction to CinemaSins' Everything Wrong with Pinocchio? And of course, eventually, yeah, I knew I had to do it, so yeah. And yeah, because it's fitting and it makes sense since, again, today is the anniversary of when Disney's live-action Pinocchio came out. And I gotta say, I'll be completely honest, as I always am with movies, I really enjoyed Disney's live-action Pinocchio. I really did. I think my mom, she did as well, because, yeah, we watched it together for when it came out, and yeah. And and before this came out, I was excited for this, especially since, well, hey, we were getting Tom Hanks as Geppetto. Robert Zemeckis was directing this. He is no stranger to Disney, as, he's best known for directing Roger Rabbit. Alan Silvestri was doing the music and score, as he's always, done the music and score on almost every Robert Zemeckis film. So, yeah, I was hoping that this wouldn't turn out to be a disappointment, but unfortunately, it did, sadly. But I feel like, I don't know, it's mixed, definitely mixed, it's even, I've seen Doug Walker's review of the film, just as himself, not as the nostalgia critic, and, he establishes, saying that, to him, and I would agree with him too, that it's trying to be good, and yeah, I think it's obvious, you can tell that it's trying to be good and faithful to the original. Doesn't every live-action version of a Disney animated film do their best to stay true to the story? They do, but of course there's going to be some changes. And yeah, it's understandable that there would be some changes in, remakes and stuff like that, but the important thing is, it's gotta be changes that make sense. And yeah, they have to make sense. In remakes, or hey, another thing is, movie adaptations of books. There's another. So, anyways. But yeah. So, with CinemaSins sending on the live-action Pinocchio film, boy, I can't wait to see what they have to say on this and what they're going to sin on. And yeah, when this came out, months ago, I knew that I had to react to this at some point, and thus I am. And I had no idea that I would be doing this, doing a reaction to this. I didn't know at first until I realized that, oh, today's the day that this movie came out. So there's that. Yeah, and you've already seen, another reaction video that came out earlier today. That was another CinemaSins video. So yeah, if any of you have not seen the first one that came out today, go check it out. But anyways, also I'm also eating breakfast while I am reacting to this, because just wanted to go ahead and record this and to, well, work on it and get it out tonight, and thus you're watching it now. So anyways, without further ado, we shall begin. In 3, 2, 1, play. Hopefully there's no ads. Spoilers, of course.
How the castle pole juts up unexpectedly from the bottom of the screen without warning? Just bam, right at the asshole, without so much as a doctor's order or a little lube. Thinking that adding Jiminy Cricket's singing to transition from the opening 30 seconds of logos would somehow make me grow a conscience and not sin your ass for it. Also, the Cricket says that when you wish upon a a star, your dreams come true. And honestly, children, that is bullshit. And frankly, it's f***ed up you had to come to this YouTube channel for that very difficult lesson.
Who are you? I'm you, only older and wiser.
Breaking space-time continuum narration. Also, if Jiminy could just chat with himself, why is he not giving old JC a heads up on all the dangerous things that are about to happen? Better yet, why isn't he telling him to turn around now and run far away from this god-awful travesty of a movie? Sticking your butt this high in the air while trying to get underneath something. We get it, Jiminy. You've been doing squats. Move on. This opening is so boring they had to catch Jiminy's jacket on fire as he makes this climb, just to give the audience something to care about until he puts it out later after having exactly zero impact on anything at all.
Well, I've seen those funny moments.
Feeling how I felt when he was here with me.
Opening on Tom Hanks sadly mumble singing his way through a terrible fake mustache. You know, for kids.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me, man.
Hey, you took that from Doug.
They decided to carry over into the live-action remake. They didn't forget the important cricket horn-dogging for inanimate objects part. What's the deal with only halfway closing this curtain to the bedroom? Either celebrate your bedroom or give in to the shame, but leaving just the bed showing seems a bit of a tease.
You cannot sell your clock, so why do you have a shop?
Signor Rizzi would be cuckoo for clock sins.
Good night, Geppetto. I leave a disappointed man.
Movie predicting
Cuckoo for
my final sin
citizens.
7 minutes into the film somehow makes it into the script. Being an asshole to a fish.
Pinocchio. Pinocchio.
Sure to transition real quick from Pinocchio to Pinocchio, huh? You're just gonna be all willy-nilly with the name, just go with Woody. It's not like that's taken or anything. Jiminy survives this. Why?
Yeah.
Being an asshole to a cat. Sudden flirty fish with underwater mascara. Teaching children that hunting a cat with a dancing marionette
Yeah,
is easy.
Cleo.
It takes years of practice to get the nightmare-inducing puppet crawl just right. Oh, f*** you, movie. Stop breaking your world for cheap Easter eggs that add nothing but a sip of empty-calorie member-berry punch. Roger Rabbit. In what universe does Geppetto craft Jessica kissing Roger as a cuckoo clock? And is it the same universe where any child...
I like those clocks. I like those Easter eggs.
Where does the crow cawing noise come from? Is there a digital recording and speaker in this clock? How do you make that specific of a noise?
And it's cool, you know?
Look, I don't know where the genitals for goldfish are. I don't intend to Google it, but I am going to say that Cleo is enjoying this bedtime belly rub much more than I am.
Yeah, I was about to say belly rub.
Overnight. You may think you're okay with it, but I bet it bugs you by morning.
It's the wishing star. Oh, I haven't seen one in so.
But the poem he is about to recite says, "Starlight, starbright, first star I see tonight." So is Geppetto saying that he hasn't seen a star in so long? This excessive amount of finger flutter-flapping. What caught his attention? Was it the swelling music? Because he's all the way across the room and there's literally no other noise happening right now. Plus, crickets are notoriously deep sleepers when they recline like this.
If I was to tell you, you would think I was.
Convenient broken clock dad joke, even though the entire point of Geppetto is how much care he puts into his clocks is convenient.
They did that clock.
Never mind, it's late.
Thinking that joke would have been funny at 11 a.m. Also, this poor cat puts up with so much bullshit and doesn't have to. Just leave, Figaro. There are other options out there with less puppet torture and terrible puns. The trajectory of this wish is an interesting twist. Magic beam hits the picture frame and blasts it to the room where it reflects onto Pinocchio. But what if something else had been in the wish path? Will we have a mashup of a fish and a boy? Where's that movie?
Jumping jeepers. He's alive.
Says the talking cricket.
Jumping jeepers.
No, you can talk.
This talk's about who's talking for all the some talk.
I'm the blue fairy.
I'm the blue fairy.
No, I'm the blue fairy.
No.
God, I hate the repeat game.
Yeah. And there is an ad. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, by the way, because very quickly, Joseph Let Gordon as Jiminy Cricket, I think he did pretty good as Jiminy Cricket. And clearly, because, you know, you have to do the voice, how it was done, for Disney Jiminy Cricket in the anime, that kind of voice, and I think Joseph Let Gordon, he does pretty good, because he is doing a voice. I like when celebrities, when they're voicing characters, they would sometimes give them a voice, so that, yeah, and it makes sense, All right, let's continue.
Are you repeating me while watching this video right now? Stop it. Oh, you stop it. I'm an asshole. Ha, gotcha.
If Geppetto wanted a real boy, why would he carve a puppet?
The Blue Fairy sure does have a lot of questions for someone who's already granted the wish. Maybe you do the questioning first, BF. People can wish for a lot of terrible things. Have you even seen Wonder Woman 1984?
But to be truly real, he had to pass.
Why reference that?
Having Cynthia Erivo and making her speak rhymes instead of sing them.
To be real is up to you. You have to prove that you are brave, truthful, and unselfish.
I run from spiders, lie about how often I bathe, and will not share the last bite of any dessert. Am I not real? What does that make me? What does that make any of us? What does this teach children?
When a boy is brave, truthful, and unselfish, it makes his father proud.
But what if your father says that fixing motors would make him proud, but you wanted to design IT systems? Guess just don't think about that now, kids. Work on your identity issues through counseling sessions in your adult life when you realize your world has inadvertently been designed around pleasing other people to be real and matter. Send your counseling bill to Disney. The casting, the look, the voice. I love everything about this Blue Fairy character. I might even take a sin off if they were in the movie more than 5 fucking minutes.
Hello, Pops.
Wait, did his stumbling backwards set off all the clocks? Or are they just going off because it's midnight? And if they're going off because
Well,
it's midnight, how does this not wake him up every night when there is...
because of hitting the
time
wall.
magical reveal? The movie continuously clock blocks its plot's momentum with several instances of a clamoring cacophony of corporate cuckoo cuckolding. Seriously, these Disney-themed cuckoo clocks can all go fuck themselves with a hanging pine cone.
It's me, Pinocchio.
Not saying this line in a thick Italian accent and then saving the princess from Bowser.
Real boy.
Look, I love Tom Hanks. You love Tom Hanks. But he's entering the gonna try some stuff portion of his career. Let's just say it's not all working.
We must have music.
The amount of things that Geppetto has hooked up to levers and pulleys in this room is fine, I guess, but I'm sending the amount
Yeah, that
of time
one,
it would take to daily reset
the
the light, the music
orchestra.
boxes, and the sex toys.
And so, Pinocchio became part of Geppetto's little family.
Wait, are you now the narrator too? Because omniscient narrator Jiminy was talking to you earlier and you acted all ignorant. Now you're talking us through the family bonding montage, and this movie seems wholly interested in addressing the metaphysical implications of any of this. Using your Make-A-Wish child as a cleaning instrument. I just want to point out that Pinocchio is sleeping in a fucking drawer, even though his father is an expert woodcarver who could easily make him a proper bed. Figaro has a bed, but
Well,
this real boy doesn't. This movie is
and in the animated movie, he was in the same bed with his father.
Assuming your kid's teacher will be an asshole.
This town can be very confusing. There are many curving streets, so pay attention.
Which makes Geppetto's decision to watch the children herder walk out of sight without making sure Pinocchio is with them all the more confusing.
I have some very good garbage for you.
Feeding air rats.
Calm down. I don't like bugs. Too much work. I prefer garbage.
Thinking that eating bugs is more work than eating garbage. Also, thinking seagulls would turn down any food of any kind whatsoever.
A wooden.
There they are.
Look at that, Gideon. It's amazing.
Almost as amazing as two talking animals dressed in clothing walking upright like humans. What is normal in this world anyway?
The same goes for the animated film.
What the hell? Can Pinocchio even smell things? He doesn't even have nostrils, so where's the sniffing sound even coming from? Also, if he could smell things, would he stop to smell
Doesn't matter.
wine? It's not an apple pie baking in a window, it's literal horse.
Let me see. Who would pay for a living pup?
My question is, how come it's only the talking fox that's aware of how miraculous this is? Geppetto seemed pretty shocked, yet this sentient marionette has been out on the streets all morning with nary a second glance from anyone.
Why on earth would you want to be real when you can be
Famous.
Twitter.
Boy, he'll see your name in lights! Lights! 6 feet high!
Jesus fucking Christ, does this goddamn fox not know any other volume level? Whoever jammed a megaphone down his throat didn't kill him as intended. They amplified him.
I've got it. Chris Pine!
Dragging Chris Pine's name into this show just because you think it's a funny pun, which it's not.
Pinocchio, that's a rule of thumb. When somebody calls themselves honest,
Didn't bother
they
me.
ain't.
Besmirching the 16th president of the United States of America. I just realized that this hammer has an Honest John and Gideon heart on it, and I'm honestly 1,000 times more interested in the romantic story between Honest Jay and Silent Bobcat here than anything actually going on in the movie.
Not a bobcat.
Thinking I dropped the ball.
But I never
What
noticed
I was
that.
actually thinking is, why are Honest John and Gideon letting you continue to stand there destroying the fourth wall when they could have trapped you minutes ago? No!
It's not just Gideon, but Honest John does notice Jiminy.
He must have lost his way.
Yeah, the real problem started at around 8 o'clock in the morning when you sent a fucking puppet to school without considering that he is confused about things like piles of shit and the sun. It's almost like he's made of wood and not quite a real boy that could lose his way and needed a parent to take him there and back safely. Who the fuck is this massive meal for? One human, a cat, a cricket, a fish, and a puppet with no digestive system live here. Taking the goldfish with you every time you leave the house. Genuinely beginning.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the animated film,
This is my comeback.
another ad. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure in the animated film, the feast, the dinner that they were going to have, but, you know, Geppetto said that no one eats until Pinocchio comes home. Like, I'm pretty sure it was big. I'm pretty sure, because I don't know. Okay. Another ad. So, oh my gosh. Like, you just gotta love the ads, right?
She looks like she has strong legs.
Does she know? Her legs don't seem all that beefy, and you've never seen her do anything. Sure, she's a ballerina, but you don't even know what that is. Unless for some reason Geppetto taught you about ballerinas before the lesson on why you shouldn't stop and play with horse in the middle of the road. Pinocchio's now singing I've Got No Strings, and I just can't help but think that I'd rather be watching the original animated movie than this unoriginal, still mostly animated movie. Are we to chapter 11 in this story yet? Because Disney needs to file for creative bankruptcy immediately. Good to see of all the things they decided to carry over into the live-action remake, they didn't forget the important French can-can marionettes that flip their skirts up for an audience of children part. This bullshit. I think we're meant to be impressed to see the behind-the-scenes aspect of how spinning marionettes can make sense, but instead I'm completely distracted by the mostly hidden pair of people who can't see the stage at all because their heads are slamming into curtain fabric. I've seen enough survivors know that starting fires is difficult, and not a single one of them on the show ever used the sliding wooden shoes over a wooden stage technique. Scooting your booty with your shod footy when you should wait until the end to use a broom instead. Cool trick. And other than this impromptu performance for a magical wooden boy, why would you need this instant stage setup in your quarters? Can someone explain how an actual normal wooden puppet can blink and furrow their brows without a string? Hanging the key in the room with the prisoner, like
I don't know.
desire is to create some sort of escape room.
Who cares?
Instead of, an actual prison.
You can trust me.
Yep.
Says the cloaked figure that is manipulating Pinocchio's feelings through her ballerina marionette.
I'm Sabina.
I'm Pinocchio.
Does Pinocchio think she's just floating there? Where does naivete end and abject stupidity begin?
Just to be sure, there is no funny business.
That's it! That's what's missing! Humor! There hasn't been a truly funny moment in this entire movie. Thanks for the heads up, Stromboli. I've been trying to figure it out for the last dreary hour.
Well, I guess this is it. This is how it ends.
Sweet! Who wants donuts? Fogging up a clear glass, which then needs to be unfogged
The end.
to see clearly through the glass.
Of course it wasn't a real fin. I had to reach the key.
So the magic knows you're hard enough to know when you're lying, but not enough to know when you're fake lying, aka not lying?
Hot dog! We did it!
Yeah, hot dog. Watch that.
No time to explain charcuterie, pal.
Insert
I
Mickey.
don't know what this means, but if the movie is implying that a hot dog can be on a
Hot
charcuterie
dog,
board,
hot
I can only do
diggity
one
dog.
thing.
Now, let's get you home.
Yeah.
But forget seeing how these two managed to unlock the cabin and escape Stromboli's watchful eye. We see 12 sets of donkeys run by before Pinocchio gets caught up in the net of convenient plot mechanics. And when we see them later, there are only 8 pairs. You know what they say about continuity errors? They make 8 asses out of you and idiots.
A killjoy who apparently doesn't believe in having fun.
Whoa,
Luke-
Luke Evans is having a blast here.
Luke
The
Evans.
scene in the following song
Yeah, he
from
is.
a different movie that I almost want to watch. Fine, take the sit off, but it won't make you a real movie. Has Jiminy been
Thank
laying
you.
in front of that wheel the whole time just
Because
chilling?
Luke Evans,
It's not like he's
he
passed out.
wanted to play the role of the coachman.
Only 3 full minutes
And thus
after
he
almost
is the
getting
coachman in the
squeezed by
film.
wheel when it first stopped. That's kind of on you. I'm pretty confident that any life lessons this movie is attempting to teach their young audience is completely lost at this point, as this is the first time anything exciting has been on the screen. So does Disney know it's lampooning itself here? And if they know the whole Magic Kingdom thing is bullshit that turns our kids into self-entitled asses, doesn't that make them even eviler? Also, who funds all of this? 6 sleds of children zoom pathlessly down a
I
candy
mean,
mountain and converge into a single
Pleasure Island
canal
being
without any
forbidden,
injuries,
like,
so someone really should be
and just
clear
left
about their
there.
well-being, because limbless asses aren't going to be very useful in the salt mines. This business model seems unsustainable.
Pleasure Island. Is this where Pinocchio is? Oh my goodness. This is a serious crisis.
Adults know about Pleasure Island, an island that
Yeah.
the children never return from, and no one has
Heck,
done
even
an
Honest
investigation into
John.
the crimes. The f is this ridiculous place? I find it odd that this movie is inadvertently saying
In the animated
all
film, that
things
is,
on
Honest
Pleasure
John.
Island should be destroyed by children except for the pool hall. Holy sh! What is this nightmare fuel? The kids turning into donkeys wasn't enough. You had to go and add an army of the smoke monster from Lost's cousin to the mix.
What the cuss is that all about?
Fantastic Mr. Foxing without mother cussing attribution.
Yeah.
Donkeys.
I guess the donkeys are more surprising than the smoke
That was just
monster.
coming in
No,
my
the
head,
donkeys
like
more surprising
Fantastic
than the
Mr.
smoke monster.
Fox.
Did that come out of me?
Sure did, but it also shouldn't have been the first thing you noticed. Look, if you grow donkey ears, you're going to feel the weight of them on your head and immediately hear a difference in the way you're processing sound. And don't even get me started about how it feels when you have a tail shoot out of your ass. Locking creatures made entirely of smoke by kicking a pool table somewhere in the vicinity of a door.
We're trapped!
No, we're not. Positive thinking, Jiminy.
Don't listen to this bullshit, children. Mindless positive thinking is some of the most dangerous thinking there is.
A wooden donkey would have been worth a blatant fortune.
More than a wooden human?
Bollocks.
Jesus fucking Christ, watch your goddamn mouth. This is a fucking kid's movie. You fucking shot him in cold.
It's me, Pinocchio. I'm home.
I think
Just a reminder,
bollocks
Geppetto
is
just chilled at home. They would be
probably is
right back
considered a
now.
swear
Nothing to do
word.
with this movie. Real enemy is helicopter parenting.
We, the members of the new Marionette Family Theatre, have a very important proposition.
So we took a shot in the dark that you'd be under a pier by the ocean and booked it here post haste.
Yeah, my donkey ears are gone.
And your tail.
Kicking someone in the taint to prove they don't have a tail.
And Pinocchio, please give my best to your father
And mine too.
when you find him.
No, they're not allowed to speak at the same time. It's not cute, it's not clever, it breaks reality, and it collapses my brain in on itself. Stop making my brain hurt. Sophia says she can't carry a heavy block of wood, but apparently she can pull a heavy block of wood fast enough to ski. And don't tell me it's about how she's holding the rope in her beak. It's not a matter of where she grips it. It's a simple matter of weight ratios.
I didn't have insurance.
Oh my gosh, another ad. Usually, like when I've reacted to CinemaSins videos, there are hardly any ads playing. But most notably, like when reacting to Nostalgia Critic videos, that's another. So, jeez Louise. Yeah, but they were some pretty good characters and very nice and sweet and kind. You know, the girl and the marionette that helped Pinocchio, and you know the thing is that they actually took over the Stromboli's business, because in the film, in the live action film that is, we see that Stromboli, he gets arrested. So it's nice to see that one of the Pinocchio villains like gets a defeat. So, you know, unlike the animated film, hardly any of the villains got they were defeated. So I mean, Honest John and Gideon were this close to, like, getting their own defeat in the animated film, because originally it was considered that after Pinocchio and Jiminy escaped Pleasure Island, they would at one point bump into Honest John and Gideon, and when they pursue Pinocchio and Jiminy, they instead run into the police, and thus, boom, they're arrested. So imagine if that was in the animated film, but nope. Honest John and Gideon, they got away with their misdeeds after, you know, bringing Pinocchio to the coachman, and that was it. But anyways. Alright, so let's continue.
Listen up.
Alright.
I'm sorry I didn't come home after I got kicked out of school.
You got kicked out of school?
And now Pinocchio will recount the entire movie to Geppetto as a simple reminder to the audience that the writers didn't care to give Geppetto any involvement in the story other than making a wish and then wandering around the countryside. A touching story about a man dealing with loss, and you basically turn him into an NPC. Well done, Disney.
You did all that in one day?
I know, right?
I'm
Yep.
sorry, Father. I apologize.
And a good
for all
reason
the trouble
why
I
he
How
got kicked out of
any
school.
the trouble in this movie is caused by Pinocchio's choices. He's basically a magical toddler.
They boot him
He knows
out.
that when toddlers do anything worthy of an apology, it is their parents' fault. Off the shores of Italy, we find a monstrum, a magnificent creature known for its ability to light movie scenes with internal bioluminescence wherever objects touch the water inside its mouth. An evolutionary development that makes them sought after by cinematographers worldwide.
I get the joke.
Everything
That was
comes
funny.
in, but nothing goes out.
Excess cheese consumption.
Open sesame!
Hmm.
What do you know?
That joke.
Jiminy demands to be let in and then panics when he is let in, and while I enjoy being amazed by
Subtitles. He didn't say the F-bomb.
I do not want to hear the cricket scream about getting his way.
That cricket is your conscience?
Seriously, it's like the movie is taking every possible opportunity to remind us how much it sidelined Geppetto from the store. There's no way this
I like how
gold should
Geppetto
have as much
notices
water in it. If it does,
Jiminy.
It's half seawater by now, and Cleo should be belly up and not in the good way. Also, how many children see the goldfish survive an insane trip to the sea and think their own fish could survive in any water? Come on, Disney, you have a responsibility to show this fish die a terrible death drowning in seawater. But if Pinocchio can
Cleo's
dash
just lucky.
through the water
Lucky
like this,
fish.
why did he need to Sophia ski his way out? Also, why is Monstro so intent on catching them? There's not nearly enough caloric intake there to make a difference. Do you think I chase a single peanut M&M under the couch?
The same goes for the animated film.
Here's a sin
He was
for
just
the sea
chasing
beast.
after them
Go
and
watch the sea beast.
wanting to
It's like,
murder
oh,
them.
for the love of Jack and Rose, there's no way that bowl full of water would be floating on the water with a cat standing on it. magical tear brings someone back to life, even though wooden boys don't have tear ducts cliche. Unexpected expectoration is actually
Well, Pinocchio was just at the peak of being a real boy, I guess.
And I love you. So
Skip. Good night, Geppetto. I leave you a disappointed man.
Okay, that's it. 139 sins.
Said, shut up, you little insect.
The Incredibles.
star, land, star, bright, a star I see tonight. I wish,
What's it gonna be?
I wish. How do I say this?
I wish I had $1 million. Hot dog!
10,000 years
I didn't get that.
will give you such a crick in the neck.
I'm the blue fairy.
Who is Blue Fairy?
Hey!
Lonely
Artificial intelligence.
friend. Blue fairy escort service will
And something else,
provide
Robin
for
Williams.
You have 4 more questions.
You have 4 more questions. Of course.
I don't think that teacher likes me.
I taught school for 20 years in the inner city, so don't even think about messing with me.
That's a bad mud puddle. I wouldn't want you to step in that and get your nice shoes all ruined.
I'm Sabina.
Peter Griffin.
Pinocchio.
There's no chance we can ever be together?
Only if you could promise me you'll never die.
You know I can't promise that.
If you did that,
I forget. What audio is this from?
I promise.
Oh,
I will
jeez.
never die.
Yeah, hot dog.
Yes! I knew it.
Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with the Father and the Holy Spirit.
Oh, The Exorcist. Nice. You didn't do a Fantastic Mr. Fox joke, because, you know, you brought up Mr. Fox early, because, you know, Jiminy Cricket's saying, you know, something like, you know, what the cuss? Like, and the same thing that some of the characters from Fantastic Mr. Fox do, you know, like, what the cuss, or get the cuss back here. Pretty funny. But overall, hey, the outtakes were good, and yeah, because, like, you know, bringing this up early, you know, when Jiminy and Pinocchio bringing up hot dog, and thus, you know, I was, like, you know, mentioning Mickey Mouse, and you do that perfect. Yeah, and I like how, you know, with the two audio clips that have to do something with Robin Williams, you know, Genie from Aladdin and Dr. No from Artificial Intelligence, and not to mention Artificial Intelligence being the sci-fi version of Pinocchio, you know, because as Stanley Kubrick, you know, established on the film. So, anyways, all right. But overall, that was pretty good, and yeah, I got some good laughs from it, and you know, what they said, you know, because of sinning and pointing out, you know, who cares, you know. All right, enough said. Jump cut to my thoughts now. Hey guys, so that was my reaction to the Cinema Sins video of Everything Wrong with Pinocchio, and of course that being Disney's live-action Pinocchio film. And yeah, as I said, like, you know, I thought the video was good and funny, and, you know, it made me laugh. Like, I got some good laughs from it, and especially, you know, with the outtakes. Like, the outtakes in the Cinema Sins videos are always, like, the fun part of their videos. Yeah, I mean, you know, again, because sadly, when this film came out, it was a disaster, you know, and again, I was hoping that this could succeed, and, you know, and as I said, and, you know, as I mentioned, Doug Walker talked about this, that, you know, this film is trying to, like, you know, be faithful and to be good. And, you know, you could tell, if any of you could tell, just saying. But, you know, for me, again, I'm being completely honest, I really enjoyed the live-action Pinocchio film. I did. I thought the casting in this film was pretty good. And, you know, Tom Hanks, like, okay, say what you will about Tom Hanks, like, you know what? I think he was a perfect fit for Geppetto, and, you know, the accent, I don't know, like, I've heard from some people, like, complaining about the accent he does for Geppetto. Well, it's like, he's done different voices, like accents for characters he's played, has he not? Like how when he played Walt Disney, Fred Rogers, Elvis's manager. You get my point. So, there's that. And as I said, like Joseph Gordon as Jiminy Cricket, I thought he did a spot-on job doing Jiminy Cricket and doing that voice. You have to do that voice for Disney's Jiminy Cricket. He's got to have that voice. Always let your conscience be your guide. So, see, I can do it. And it's nice that for Pinocchio himself, they kept Pinocchio the same way how he looks, like how he did in the animated film. They would have to, and thus they did. So I'm glad they did. Because honestly, it would feel wrong to make him look different in live action. Unlike, say, how the servants in Beauty and the Beast, how they looked in live action. I don't know, I think that's a bit different compared to this, like, a difference, you know what I'm saying? And speaking of Beauty and the Beast, because Luke Evans, good for him, playing 2 Disney villains in live action. First, he was Gaston in Pinocchio, and he now got to be the coachman. And as I said, I remember reading he expressed interest in playing the coachman, and thus he got the role. And I tell you, because, like, his makeup and his getup in the film, like, golly, because, like, the teeth he has and, like, his hair, like, well, I mean, you gotta make the coachman look evil and nasty. Like, well, I mean, unlike, say, I don't know, like how the coachman is in the animated film, like the most infamous shot of, the coachman going, "As boys," like, yeah. As, like, clearly, because the most infamous shot from that film. Because I tell you, the animated Pinocchio film, like, there was so much to it, just dark and just, wow. But that's why it's good, and that's why it's a Disney gem. It is, because, yeah, it's definitely up there being one of the best Disney animated feature films of all time. So, and not to mention that the animators, when they were doing Pinocchio, they all said that, like, they wanted to make this better than Snow White. And no hard feelings against Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, because that's still, a memorable and, Disney gem. And that's what started it all. It changed the movie industry. It made film history. And, for animation, being one of the first, like, animated films of all time. So, okay, back to the live-action version of Pinocchio. Another thing is, the Blue Fairy. I thought the Blue Fairy was good. And, say what you will about, the casting of the Blue Fairy. The Blue Fairy's a fairy. What does it matter? Just like, say, Tinkerbell in the live-action, the Disney's live-action version of Peter Pan, I should say, and being titled Peter Pan and Wendy. What does it matter? They're fairies, and it's a movie. It's fiction. You get my point. So, and I tell you, because, like, the Blue Fairy, what's-her-face playing the Blue Fairy, and she's a good singer, and oh my gosh, like, hitting that high note, right at the end of singing When You Wish Upon a Star. Even, like, my mom, she agreed, too, that she, like, hit the note, and, she was good at singing it. Yeah, because that was pretty good. And speaking of When You Wish Upon a Star, this was perfect. Where the opening to the film, where we, of course, have the castle logo, the Disney logo with the castle, I should say. And, we then see Jiminy Cricket come down and we hear him sing When You Wish Upon a Star. Very fitting. Like, that was a perfect way to start off the film. And it makes sense. So, yeah. And, yeah, what the narrator for CinemaSins, what he pointed out, like, Jiminy Cricket talking to himself, like, I'm your future self, a little older and wise. And then, like, up to when, like, later in the cottage, and when, he becomes Pinocchio's conscience and with that uniform, and, he starts narrating. Well, I guess I assume that's supposed to be Jiminy at that moment right there. Just, if you get what I'm saying, I assume, because why else, Oh, yeah, and by the way, another thing about the outtakes, yeah, the one with Honest John, audio of Keegan-Michael Kay, of that teacher, yeah, that was a good one. Like, Mr. A Rhyme, like, I think that's how it goes. Like, yeah, I remember watching that full skit with my parents, and, like, they laughed at it. It is a hilarious skit. So, and, like, I can remember, like, Keegan-Michael Kay as the teacher, like, going, "Thank you." One student got something right. So, anyways. Yeah, and about Monstro, because what the narrator pointed out, like, talking about Monstro, like, just going after Geppetto and Pinocchio, well, the same goes for the animated film, because he was chasing after them. Like, he was determined, I'm pretty sure, yeah, determined to kill them viciously and so on. Because literally, he was chasing after them. Even when, like, say, at one point Geppetto was unconscious and Pinocchio did his best to save his father by swimming to shore and to the rocks, And with Monstro on their tail, so, yeah. And I don't, like, here's another thing, like, the narrator didn't point out this, and, I'm kind of glad, because, come on, like, the ending to the film, like, okay, as we all know in the animated film, Pinocchio, he basically at one point got killed, because, when trying to get to the rocks and Monstro coming in, and, that, and, he still has the donkey ears and tail, and, of course, Geppetto's all right. But in this one, well, Geppetto, he is completely unconscious, and, Pinocchio thinking that his father might be dead, and he gets so emotional and singing "When You Wish Upon a Star" and one tear coming down. I had no problem with that. And as I pointed out, like, with Pinocchio having a tear duct, and, the narrator, bickered at that. Well, come on. I think that was probably, like, Pinocchio was just at a peak of starting to become a real boy, don't you think? Because, like, right before the movie ends and the book closes, and with Jiminy Cricket doing the narration, we see that Pinocchio starts transforming into a real boy. And I think, if I recall, I remember hearing from some people complaining that we never got to see him turn into a boy. But we do! I mean, even though we don't see the front of him, we don't see his face, we see him transforming. It's right there. How can you miss it? Not to be rude or anything, but I'm just making it clear, like, come on, guys, it was right there, clear as day. So come on. Yeah, but overall, the live-action version of Pinocchio, it has its ups and downs, and its flaws, and I think for any of the live-action Disney films, of the animated films, there are some things to like about them, no doubt about it. Like, there always would be, and yeah, I think, yeah, this too, because I think there's a lot of good things that came from this. In fact, some things that, you kind of wish that the animated film would have done. Like, good example, as I pointed out, one of the Pinocchio villains, like, getting a defeat, and that being Stromboli. He's the only one that actually, like, where he got defeated and, like, he went to jail. So, and unlike the animated film, again, because none of the villains in the animated version of Pinocchio were defeated. They just got away with what they did. Like, from Honest John and Gideon to Stromboli. Well, I mean, and even in the animated film, because they escaped, and Stromboli, he just continued on, And the coachman, he got away with, like, turning the stupid little boys, as he says, into donkeys. Monstro, I mean, I don't know, like, still, I think, like, Monstro would technically be considered a villain, but he kind of got defeated, like, probably, like, I probably so, because, like, being, like, one of the only, like, villains in Pinocchio where he got defeated, because, he never killed Pinocchio and Geppetto, so there's that. But overall, yeah. As I said, the live-action version of Pinocchio, it is what it is, and, for me, I thought it was really good. And what about you guys? What did you think of the CinemaSins video itself? What did you think of my reaction? Leave comments, and give this reaction video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the CinemaSins video of everything wrong with Pinocchio, and again, which being Disney's live-action Pinocchio. More reactions coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / reaction. And I think I probably should, probably give the live-action Pinocchio film a watch. And, again, since today is its anniversary. And yeah, and with that, happy anniversary to the live-action version of Pinocchio. Take care, and peace out.